This is your intuitive message. You are coming out of a bubble. You're coming out of a bubble that maybe was a safe space for you, whether that was on social media, whether that was in terms of where you were, whether it was in terms of what you were doing. You were in a sort of a waiting room type space, especially if you're a creative person and you were blocked in some way. This was needed. So I know there's a sense of mourning and a sense of grief, maybe for some of us, when we leave that safe bubble, because it feels like suddenly we are having to interact with maybe a very different type of people, and it can be quite jerking, it can be quite like jarring. Yeah, you're ready. You are now ready to go out into the world, and you do have the strength. You were recuperating in the safe bubble. And I think for a lot of creatives right now, I'm seeing a lot of creatives doing the artist way, for example. It's almost like people all around the world who are creative are suddenly getting to a point where they're thinking, do you know what? I'm just going to do my art and I'm just going to be me and come what may. I'm really sensing as well the need right now to try and practice your art and try and express yourself generally, creatively, as if you did not need to make money from it at all, as if you were just kind of fully provided for. And I think the reason we are all feeling like that, it could be different reasons. It could be to do with the changes that we're all experiencing, but it's also because we are going to be provided for by the universe in one way or another. There's definitely a sense of artists suddenly feeling, for whatever reason, some of them out of desperation, some of them out of anger, some of them out of maybe just feeling like it's the time, but feeling like we're just gonna do what we want to do and come what may. And that's a really great attitude to have right now. I think we're about to start something new. There's a real encouragement from spirit right now to try and put loads of love into not only what you're going to do, but also what has been, what's ending or what's ended. Kind of put the love in terms of being thankful for the fact that it was in our lives. For example, it doesn't have to be like, I know for some of us it's going to be like TikTok and social media generally changing, or where we are, the society is changing. But for some of us on a smaller level, it could be even things like, for example, for me, the last couple of years was sort of like a bubble or a void where I was figuring out what I was going to do next, but also resting and recovering and reconnecting with myself. And now I feel like I'm ready to come out into like a wider world. Yeah, so there's going to be a sense of that, and it's really important to give thanks for the bubble that we did have, that void that we did have, whatever it was that provided us with that opportunity to just kind of rest. Maybe it was also like an aftermath of COVID and all of that sort of thing, where people just needed that recovery time. So as a creative, just be prepared. There's something new coming in. You are gonna be I can only express it as there's going to be genius, or there's going to be creativity flying around all over the place and randomly entering our informational field. You're going to catch it. You're going to catch something in terms of this creativity. So you're going to catch an idea, or you're going to catch some sort of inspiration, or something is going to just enter your visual field where you're going to be like, wow, this is exciting. I want to do this. Yeah. So it's really important right now. You don't have to do anything for this. You don't need to be anywhere. You don't need to be making efforts right now. Just continue to be and enjoy the last few days, or maybe a couple of weeks for some of us, of this rest in time, of this little bubble, of the safe bubble that we've had. Because no matter how hard it's been, it has been a bubble. And I think now we're starting to actually take action in whatever way that's going to come up for you. So yeah, enjoy this last few days. Maybe wrap up the things that still need to be wrapped up from previous lives, previous chapters. I definitely feel a sense of newness coming in a sense of lightness, and also a sense of looking at things from a very different perspective, sort of like looking at your surroundings, looking at your life, looking at what you've been doing and thinking, that's not me. Like, why am I here? What am I doing? And suddenly making a decision to do something else. So there's going to be a lot of movement. There's going to be a lot of readjustment, rearrangement. It's going to be creative chaos. It's like a very strong number 5. And that's why it's important to bring love into that, because 5 represents, like the number 5 represents our children, and it represents our creativity, and it represents chaos, and it represents love. In this kind of like getting in love, falling in love type of energy. So there's going to be a lot going on, basically. It's going to feel like suddenly things, people, ideas, thoughts, feelings are coming into your life, catching you, or you're catching them, and it feels very exciting. And I really, really urge you to go with that and to not be afraid, because you are strong enough now. You have rested enough. And you've also learned enough about yourself now, especially if you are from my neurodivergent collective. You've learned enough now about yourself that you can create very strong boundaries, and you can continue on this journey of newness in a different way. Because I'm thinking back to maybe 2006, 2007, for some of us, 2008, where there was that sense in the air of anything is possible. If you're old enough to remember that time. And I feel like this is a repeat of that. But if you have sort of felt like in the past you were allowing situations or people to be taking advantage of your energy, or you were giving it away too much, you weren't establishing good boundaries, now you're going to get a chance to redo that or repeat that exciting period, not in the same way. It's not going to be the same people, it's not going to be the same situations, it's not going to be the same scenarios, not at all. It's going to be new, but repeat that sort of like it's a new beginning, basically, and you get to do it differently this time. You are still the Fool card. We've talked about the Fool recently when I've been talking about like card meanings. You're still going to be the Fool card, but you're going to be the Fool card with all the wisdom that you have acquired so far. So you're going to be the Fool card in terms of starting something completely new, where you have no idea where you're going, you have no idea what's going to happen, and it feels really happy, and it feels like you're ready to step off that cliff. But at the same time, you have collected so much wisdom, so much strength, and so much knowledge about yourself and others, that I think you are more than ready. So if you are on a verge of something, or if it feels like you are, maybe you feel lost right now, maybe you feel like you're still in that void, maybe you feel like everything is ending around you and you have no idea where you're going, that's a good thing. Embrace the chaos right now, because this is where the new beginning, this is where the new life is going to come from. So it's a super exciting time, and I just want you to really go for it, really go with it. You have graduated that school of lessons, you've graduated whatever the next, you kind of go into that next level. I feel like for some of us, you're going into like a higher degree level of a journey. Yeah, especially if you have been focused on learning about yourself, learning about people, practicing compassion, practicing self-compassion and self-love, practicing establishing boundaries, all of that practicing learning about the universe and the energies and feeling the energies and all of that. I think you're gonna get a chance to really enjoy the next chapter. So yeah, just go for it.